And I guess yesterday one mistake is happened. It's about actually the response time. The response time of central instance is actually 1 to 5 milliseconds only. And coming to dialog, the dialog response time is 100 milliseconds. So if the dialog response time is exceeds more than 100 milliseconds, we are going to get the issues. So this is this is a one mistake is happened yesterday, and we covered almost like a enqueue log types, shared, exclusive, cumulative, and optimistics, and thereafter we covered some parameters, important parameters, and then we covered SM12 T code and as well as the SM04 T code. So how we are going to monitor entry enqueue logs in SM12 and how we are going to handle the user sessions in SM04, and as well we discussed some parameters. It's about enqueue parameter and as well as the enqueue table size parameter. These are the important parameters we are having, and as well as we are having one more parameter like a enqueue/ms host and as well as enqueue slash so one more parameter is there like our disk ms host message server host name. We can find here our disk slash enqueue name. We can find the enqueue server name here. So we can check these things in like an OS level, these two parameters. And coming to enqueue, we already know this hard disk wp no underscore enqueue equal to 1. By default, we're going to get 1. And table size parameter is like we are already discussed. So enqueue slash table size equal to like a older one's 4 MB. Like currently it is default we're getting 16 to 32 MB like that. And we can increase up to the table size to 56 MB based upon the requirement. If it is exceeds the table size, if it is exceeds more than that memory, we can increase the table size. So most of the systems are now coming with a default like we can by default we'll get the 16 MB, but we're going to increase to 56 MB. So if you observe the logs in SM50, if you observe the logs held by dialog or courses, it should not it is not more than 1 hour. If it is like PTC, batch or background jobs, it will take more than hours or sometimes even days like that it will go. So these things we covered in yesterday's session. Now we are going to discuss about some practical things. enqueue practical session. So how the lock is going to be happen, how we are going to monitor, like we are going to see. So which lock is we are having the 4 types of locks, right? So share lock, in exclusive lock, and optimistic locks, and as well as cumulative locks. So we are going to see in a practical way. Most of the times we are going to see the exclusive locks. So and the next we are going to discuss about, as well as we discussed yesterday, the question is about if the dialog response time exceeds more than 100 milliseconds. So how we are going to troubleshoot, like what are the issues we are going to get. So we are going to discuss, and after that we are going to discuss about if enqueue server restarts, what will happen. Like if the system is crashed, what will happen, we are going to discuss. And as well as we are going to get some deadlock issues. So while updating into the database, as well as we are going to discuss these 3 major important troubleshooting things, how we are going to monitor the enqueue related issues. Okay, see here, this is one user and this is another user. I am using SE01 is the T code. So I want to edit and click edit. See here, I'm just open this. I'm not going to do it in. So again, I'm going here, the user tool. See here, I'm hitting same SU01 T code. Again, I'm hitting, I want to change the same couple user. So I'm just clicking edit. See here what will happen. Maintenance of user couple locked by Srikanth. So this is locked by the Srikanth user. Let me check. SM12. See here, the lock mode is E-type, exclusive lock. That is why the user is not going to get even read or write operations. See here, if you click, even read option is not available. So this is called exclusive lock. And coming to SM12, on which client the lock is happened, by which user the lock is happened, at what time the lock is happened, which lock mode it is. E means exclusive lock, which table it is locking, USR04 we can see, and argument 100 client, it is representing like that 100 client the user. So these many things we are going to observe in. If you want to delete the lock, you can delete. See here, I'm just selecting it, I'm simply deleting it. Delete lock entry, yes. So you see what will happen. I'm going to edit with this user. See, now this user can able to edit. I want to change the password in user here. Is supposed to change or not, we'll see. So the user copy has changed. So previously it was on the user, right? So let me try again with, again I want to see here the copy locked by user Madhav. You can see here SM12 /hope. Let me, we already have this screen. I'm going back here in store. See here. So previously it was locked by Srikanth user, now it is locked by Madhav. This is how the lock works. So once after releasing the lock only, the second user is going to update something on the database. This is how we are going to monitoring the Enqueue locks lock in place in SM12. And now again I'm taking one more example. So that is, I want to change some client related things, BD54. I'm clicking new entry. So let me try with secondary user. I'm hitting same BD54 here as well. Continue. See here, the data is locked by Srikanth and can display it only. Do you want to display locked data? The user is going to have the only display access. Now refresh here. So it is showing that exclusive lock only. The argument is stating that BDLS. It is about like clients only. The lock is locked by, but it is 2 times showing counter 1. Okay, the same time it is happening. Okay, so the second user is not going to access the data. Only like he is going to have the only display access. He is not going to do anything. Like there is no option to create new client because it is already locked by this user. If I am going back, if this user is going back, let me see. Let me check with this user now. I'm hitting BD54, the lock is released. Let me check the lock is whether the lock is released or not. The lock is disappeared. See here. I'm just going to second user. I'm hitting BD54. See here. Previously the new entries is not there. These all options are not there. Now he got the option. If you try with the first user BD54, it is going to be only display access. See, like locked by Madhav. See. Now go to SM12, just refresh it. You can find the lock mode. The lock is happened by Madhav user. So this is how the lock is going to be happen. So once you go back, once you create a logical system and a logical system name, so and then after finishing, click save button. So your work is done. So then once your work is done, the user's work is done, the lock is going to be released automatically. This is how the Enqueue lock management works in real time. Let me check with one more thing. It's about SU01 copy user. I want to edit same user here as well, SU01. I want to edit. So see here, it is locked by Srikanth user. Now I want to check the lock. See here, It is exclusive lock by Srikanth. Now I am going to check with on table. The user related tables is available on USR02, right? I'm going to the table management T code, that is SC16. I'm just hitting USR 02 is the table name too. If you want to give star, you can see the all users information here. The USR02 is the table to monitor the all users information. The USR02 is the table name, and we are going to check it in SC16 is the T code to check the like all table information. All table information is stored in SC16. All table information is on SC16, and user information is there on USR02. And what about client information? Client information is on T000 table. And so you have to remember these two are the very, very important tables. And if you want to check the table information, you need to visit first SC16 is a T code. This is holding the all table information. If this is about users information is available in the SC16. And if you select, you delete, you can delete. Instead of deleting here, I already told you, I'm going to visit SM04 to kill the session. SM04. See here. So we observed the lock is happened by this user. You just select the user, and then after you just click session, and then after you just this user maintenance SU01. These many browsers opened by this user. So you just want to fill this session, you can just select that one and delete session. See here, the session is going to be deleted. This is how the lock works. So the continuation, like we already discussed about them, if dialog or process response time exceeds more than 100 milliseconds, so what are the expected issues we are going to get? So mostly the first thing is like user experience going to very slow. That means whenever the user hits some transaction codes, the response time is very low. And update delays. Update takes longer time because every update depending upon Enqueue. So then only once the lock is released, the update is going to be updated. So if it is exceeds more than 100 milliseconds, update going to be very low. It will take longer time, and next locks not released quickly because it is exceeds more than 100 milliseconds. That is waiting to release one more one. So lock not released quickly and timeout errors. So if it is lock waiting too much time, the transaction code fails. We're going to get, and as well we're going to get the timeout issues, timeout errors, and high CPU load on ASCS instance. So why means like this Enqueue and MSS server resides in ASCS instance only. That is why high CPU load on ASCS instance. See here, this Enqueue and MSS server resides in ASCS instance. So that is why high CPU load on Enqueue server. So if it is exceeds more than 100 milliseconds. And next we'll get dumps in ST22. So like the dumps is like timeout errors only. So the timeout errors is like the timeout, Enqueue timeout. So we're going to get, and we're going to check it in ST20T. And also we're going to get lock table overflow. So whenever this exceeds more than 100 milliseconds, so this lock table is also going to overflow. We can check it in SM21. Okay, so these are the issues we're going to get, and how we are going to troubleshoot. How we are going to troubleshoot the issues. So first we are going to check the response time. We know that response time we are going to check it in ST03N, and we need to select that today or last week like that, and then after we need to click the workload, and you just click total, and you just click analysis views after that, and you just click transaction profile, and on that you can get the Enqueue related response time. Scroll to Enqueue time column, we can find the Enqueue's response time over there. And next, second one is check Enqueue table utilization. In SM12, like we can have the option called tap capacity utilization. So you just hit SM12 and extras tap capacity utilization and the current. So you can find the percentage of table utilization. So if it is exceeds more than that, like we need to increase the 90% the table size, like the parameters we know that Enqueue/table size equal to. So by default we are going to get the 16 MB or 32 MB like that. Will be based upon the requirement, and we are going to increase the size of 256 MB, and and check active locks on SM12. So let me show it to you. SM12. We are going to see the top capacity utilization. SM12. I'm hitting SM12 list. See here, there is no lock as of now. Just I'm going extras. You just pick top capacity used. You just click current, and then after you can find the top capacity utilized information. The lock information we can able to find. So we know that like if it is exceeds more than 100 milliseconds, it is our baby size is we're going to check in here. So if it is exceeds more than the size table size, we're going to extend the size with 16 MB to 256 MB in. So RZ10 we can enable the like RZ10 we're going to do the things. So you just go back, you just hit RZ10, and then after just select the default profile, extended maintenance, change, just create new parameter, and enqueue clash table underscore size equal to the value. So it should be the value should be in a KB format. So if it is exceeds more than in SM12, we are going to come to RZ10 and we are going to give the parameter value as in a KBs. So if it is 256 MB, you need to give. So what is a KB? So we just keep copy that and just go back, and I'm not going to do anything changes here. You just go back, and then after you just click save. After saving, you need to restart the system in OS level. So then only that parameter value is reflected into the application level. So next, check active locks on SM12. Too many lock entries. If you find too many lock entries, so delete old locks. If they stuck, so if they stuck, we need to delete the old locks. So stuck means it is not moving forward like that. So with a confirmation user only, we're going to delete the old locks. SM12 list. So as of now, there is no lock. You assume that these are the locks we're having. So in this table, you just select this lock and you just click delete. So the lock got going to be deleted. So this is how we are going to delete the lock. But after confirmation with the user only, we're going to delete the lock. Instead of deleting the lock, we're going to do it with a session termination. In SM04, we're going to SM04, and we need to select this and we need to kill the session. We know that. Just delete the session. That's it. So these two options we're going to use. Fourth one is lock table overflow. The lock table overflows, like we need to check it in SM21. Lock table overflow and enqueue no memory. These many things we're going to observe. We just SM21 set date and time and reread system logs, and then after you can find the such symbol over there. You just click that one. Otherwise, you can just control F and you just enter the enqueue or lock table overflow, and you can find the lock table overflow related things. And you need to analyze the overflow issues and all the things and the messages, and on that you can troubleshoot. So next one is check update requests. SM14 and SM14. So SM14, we know that whether the update active or not, whether the update work process is active or not, we're going to check it in SM14. This is like a daily monitoring step, and then after we need to check whether the like status, look for hanging or failed update status, and stuck updates can hold locks for longer time. So this leads to high enqueue time. Try with a repeat update and auto retry. If it is not happen with anything with the repeat update, we are going to delete the update. For this also, we are going to take the configuration with the user. We just check SM14. See here, the update is active. We have to check as a daily monitoring step. So it should be active. Then only the data is going to be saved on the database. This update is responsible for saving on the database. So without update, there is no work is going to be happen in the SAP system. Just come to server. If you have any additional application servers, you can find here whether those additional applications are active or not. We're going to check it in server. So see here, the status is active. So this thing we are going to observe in SM14 whether the update active or not. And now I'm just hitting SM13. So SM13 we just execute. So once you hit SM13 and you came to this screen, and then after you assume that there are update records are there, and we need to select the update record. So like that, on which client it is updating and by which user it is updating, at what time, the date, at what time, the time, particular time, date and time, at what decode it is doing, and the status. We are going to observe the status here, update status. If it is stuck, if it is not moving further, and we are going to select the update, and we need just click repeat update. Click repeat update, that's it. So if it is going to be update, the status is going to move further. If it is not moving further, like for the next status, just select the update and just give the delete update record. So by confirmation with the user only, we are going to delete this update record, because so update is going to reflect into the database, right? So the data inconsistency going to happen in the database. We need to check with the user. After confirmation with the user only, we are going to delete the update records. Okay. So these many things we are going to observe in SM13 and SM14. And check for deadlocks in ST22. Sixth one. So look for short dumps related to Enqueue Analysis. In ST22, we just select the today or last week. So reread old dumps. So you just search for dumps like Enqueue lock, system Enqueue failure, and these many things you can find the dumps. And if any of this, so you can just double click on the particular dump. If it is this, if it is that, and then after you just click check error, what is it is causing, error analysis, and how to correct the error. So we can find the solution over there, and by that we can troubleshoot. So like if it is not, if it is having this deadlock issue with the two users mostly, right? So we are going to, at that time, with the taking confirmation with the user, we are going to kill the one user session. So low priority, like that means any one of the user, we are going to kill the user session in SM04. And we need to check the confirmation in SM12. Try to kill the user session and free the lock with the confirmation. Check old entry cleared in SM12 or not. We are going to check it in SM04 first for the confirmation. Whether it is cleared or not, we are going to check it in SM12. I'm just hitting SM12. And as well, I'm opening SM04. I'm opening SM04. You assume that in SM04, so one user session is running. So you just click this one and delete this transaction. By select this one, you just click delete this one. After deleting this, for the confirmation purpose, here it is going to be clear anyway by refreshing. And when after you just click for the confirmation purpose, you just visit the SM12 and you can find whether the user got deleted from here or not. And as well, the lock is going to be released once the session got logged from, and here in SM12, the lock entry is going to be removed. That means the lock is going to be released for the second user. This thing we are going to do it in SM04 and SM12. So as well, the deadlock due to programmatic errors like SAP standard issue, we need to fix these errors with S-Node or support pack implementation only. If it is happened, the deadlock is happened with the programmatic errors. We are not going to do it with any thing in this application level. Like we are not going to do it in an OS level as well. For that, we need to implement some S-Node as well as S-Net or support package implementation. We are going to implement. Then only the deadlock issue going to be resolved. Check network and the system connectivity. 7th one. In OS, we can check. We know that by pinging this server, right? You just hit ping some post number. I'm just giving like this. See here. It is giving a response in a milliseconds. The response time is fine. Everything is fine. The data going okay. This is fine with the this. This is how we are going to check in a OS level. Ping is working fine here, and if everything is fine, if it is not fine with the network, and we need to connect the OS team. Anyway, we are having with OS team for everyone, and we need to check with them. We are going to mail them. They are going to respond us, and we are going to check with the network issue here. And 8th one, check message server and dispatcher. So check message server and dispatcher means SM51. So SM51, SMMS. SM51, we know that all active server information we are going to check it in SM51. So SMMS, the name itself, it is stating that like a system monitoring message server monitoring. And as well, we are going to check work directory ENUS or SAP ESCS instance, because message server resides in ESCS, right? And we are going to check it in message server and as well as the Enqueue server. These things we are going to check it in this ASCS of work directory. If it is having the problem with the dispatcher, and we are going to visit the PAS or AS instance of work directory. Instead of here ASCS, we are going to get the PAS or AS. That's it. And also we are going to check whether the server is working fine or not, SAP system working fine or not. We are going to check it in by using SAP control command and get process list SM51. See here, all active server information, whether all active instances, we are going to check it in. See here, application server instances, we are going to check the status. All active server information, we are going to check in SM51. We can find the release notes and So many information say here. And this is about SM51. Why we are visiting this SM51 means the all servers are, the status should be in active status. That's the purpose we're going to visit. Anyway, and in SMMS also we're going to check whether the SMMS, we're going to have the same thing here. Up to this, the same server status. Here also we can find the all active server information, whether all servers information active or not. We're going to check it here. And extra additionally, we're having the trace. If you want to trace the Mrs. server, you can on the trace and you can find the solution on that, but it is not required. It is a training system based upon the requirement only. We're going to on the trace. And also in SMMS, we're going to monitor like so host name and as well as the port number. So internal communication of the port number. So these things we are going to observe in SMMS, message server monitor. So 2 instances logged on. See here. The detailed information we're going to get in SMMS. So the port numbers by we are going to check, and as well as the host number details also we're going to check it in OS level. If it is not on, we're going to visit the OS level and we're going to check with that. And so if you are having the problem with the dev underscore ms or dev underscore enqueue, and we need to visit the ASCS of work directory. So we just now discussed cd. See here, cd SAP MNT. And then see here, like currently I'm using AP2 application. I'm visiting that IAPT. cd USR SAP AP2. So we need to go back actually. cd USR SAP AP2 cd SCS of work directory. cd if you want attention LL, you can find the work directory here, and it's just a cd work LL. See here, so dev underscore ms, this is representing message server, and then after we are having enqueue return. So dev underscore, this is about enqueue admin ADM, and this is the we are going to check enqueue, something like this. See here, we know that the whole SAP system we are going to have the only one enqueue server is enough. But see here, we're having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That means we can configure up to 3 enqueue. But the limitation is like with the one enqueue server is enough for whole SAP system. For large scale system, large database update system, we're going to configure these things. But by default, the enqueue is 0. Starting with the 0, 0 means 1 only, it is working fine. There is no issue. If you want to configure 1, 0 plus 1, 2, like this. And this is about ACS of work directory, enqueue and message server we're having, and how we are going to monitor. Suppose if you are having the issues with the tail iPhone 20F, so we just enter this dev underscore ms, just click enter. So if we're having any issues with the dev underscore ms, we are going to find the issues filtered here, like error, you're going to get the information of dev underscore ms message server related issues you're going to get. So if you're having the issues with the enqueue server, you're going to enter the instead of dev underscore ms, you're going to enter this dev underscore enqueue, this enqueue 000. And then after, if we are having problem with the dispatcher, so we need to visit them PA's instance, right? So for that, cd, this is PA's instance, LL, cd work directory, here also work directory only, LL. See here, mostly total 19 work process we are having in the system. See here, 0 to 19. You just hit SM50. You can find the total number of work process is 19. See here, Dialog 10, update 1 and 2, background 6, spool 1. So our update, these are the work process we are having in application level. If you see, we are having in OS level, in PS work directory on AS work directory as well. We are going to see the work process, all the work process 0 to 19. So in In PS work directory or AS work directory, we are going to have the same ICM internal communication details and RFC connection details. So if you're having problem with the ICM, we're going to check with ICM tail and 20F space dev underscore we need to check this dispatcher. If you're having with the problem with the dispatcher, we're going to give the tail and 10F or 20F, and we're going to give the dev underscore dis. If you're having the problem with the dev ICM, we're going to give this dev underscore ICM. And if you're having problem with the RFC, we're going to give the dev underscore RFC. So anyway, we're going to get the error, right? So by that, we are going to troubleshoot. RFC is there, gateway is there, and also TP is also there, dev underscore TP is also there. So this W0 represents dial-over process. And first, the user session started with this one. We're going to check whether the first dial-over. Anyway, we're having 10 dial-over processes, but first we need to check whether the user able to log in with this. This is what we're going to visit by checking this tail. See here, and also we can check the gateway information as well, GW/log, and so these many things we're observing. PS work directory. So sale here, tail iPhone. You just give like this. If you're having problem with the dialog, so we need to check like this. If you're having any errors with the dialog related, you're going to get the error like this. Every line it is going to give the error information. So I think there is no issue with the dialog process. So first dialog. So this is how we are going to check. So let me show it to you in PS work directory as well. CD. This is my PAS, AS additional application server. LL CD work. LL. See here also the same thing we are going to observe. So whatever we are having in PS, the same thing we are going to have it in dispatcher, ICM, RFC. So all work processes, dialog, background, spool, everything, update everything up to 19 work process we're having the same, and also gateway we're having. So these many things we're going to have it in PS and AS. If you're having problem with the particular additional application server, we're going to visit that application server and we're going to check the things by visiting this work directory. AS is having MX server Enqueue server. We just know seeing these things in Western. The same way PAs. If you visit PAs and AS, the same thing we're having dispatcher, dial work process, all work process information we're going to have it in PAs work directory. Same thing we're going to have it in AS, dispatcher, dial all work processes, and a gateway. Additionally, we're having ICM and RFC connections as well. We're going to have. If you have like the recommendation is like that, like enable enqueue trace only during the peak hour, non-peak hours, non-business times. So why means that in a business hours, a large amount of data is going to be updated in the daytimes. So the trace is like if you want the trace daytime like a business hours, it will give you the like a system slowness. That is why we're going to on the trace on only on non-business hours. That means off peak hours we are going to enable enqueue trace. You just visit the SM12 extra trace on. That's it. And next question is like that. So we just now discussed deadlock due to programmatic errors. So if it is happen with the programmatic errors, we need to implement the S nodes or support packs, right? So for example I'm taking deadlock due to programmatic errors. A user complains VA01. It is a sales order creation with ST, SAP ST. It is stuck or unresponsive. So whenever the user is hitting a VA01, there is no response from the application. It is not the server is not responding back to the user. At that time, user complaint comes to us. VA01 hangs after filling some data. Okay, so at that time we are going to visit SM50 or SM66 to check look for dial-over process stuck in enqueue wait status is there, and we are going to check indicates it's waiting for lock held by another process. So this lock is held by another process. We are going to check it in SM50 or SM66. And then after we just visit the SM12, look for lock, entries, how many locks are there, and in the table column we can able to find out the VBAK, VBAP, sales order header, right, and these things we're going to observe in lock entries. in the table column. So this lock held by user A, but user B, user C, user D, user E, user F, user G, user H, user I, user J, user K, user L, user M, user N, user O, user P, user Q, user R, user S, user T, user V, user W, user X, user Y, user Z, user H, user I, user J, user K, user L, user M, user N, user O, user P, user Q, user R, user S, user T, user V, user W, user X, user Y, user Z, user H, user I, user J, user K, user L, user M, user N, user O, user P, user Q, user R, user S, user T, user V, user W, user X, user Y, user Z, user H, user I, user J, user K, user L, user M, user N, user O, user P, user Q, user R, user S, user T, user V, user W, user X, user Y, user Z, user User B has another lock on related record table. It is a classic case of deadlock where two processes are waiting for each other's lock. So each other's lock waiting for the two processes are waiting for each other's lock. So this is where the deadlock is happened. So at that time, just in SM21, we just need to, for the confirmation purpose only, we are going to visit SM21, and then after we just select that today or last week, like that, just to read the system logs, search for deadlock detected or not, and double click on log entry and review timestamp user and related process info, and then after we just find the deadlock detected or deadlock details. Around that same timestamp, we are going to observe this deadlock related issues. So we'll mention two process and users and log conflict. We will going to observe this thing. So anyway, the deadlock is detected in SM21. So by reviewing all these things, we are going to find that the deadlock is detected. And then after, for in SU22, so not always present, but look for dumps. So if it is detected, so we need to check whether these update these dumps are there into the ST22 or not. So we just to check enqueue read failure and DBSQL duplicate key error. So these main things we are going to observe in ST22 as a dumps. If it is deadlock is detected, we are going to observe in dumps in ST22. These dumps we are going to observe in ST22. And if you are having these problems, like this is like a SAP standard issue, like it is having problem with the programmatical issues, and we need to fix these issues only implementing the S-Note or support package. So then only the problem is going to be resolved, right? So this is about deadlock due to programmatic errors. And the next one, what happens when the Enqueue server restarted? So restarted means we manually, as a users, for the work purpose, we are going to restart sometimes by using some SAP commands like a start application, stop application, like that. We are going to use SAP control commands. Whenever we are restarting, what happens to the Enqueue logs? That is the question actually. And what happens when the Enqueue server is restarted? So anyway, like you just remember, this ERS is nothing but Enqueue server replication, Enqueue replication server. ERS is nothing but Enqueue replication server. ENSA, Enqueue server architecture. ENSA, Enqueue server architecture 1. So this is 1 is for legacy or older systems. 2 is for modern HA systems, high availability systems. So the answer is like 2. We are having two types of answers here. If the Enqueue is restarted, we are having ERS. If you are having in modern systems, modern HA systems with the ENSA 2, like the ENSA, Enqueue server architecture 2, if you are having this with ERS, the log entries are replicated in memory first. This is when first the log entries are all stored into the memory, and then after it is moved to ERS, Enqueue replication server. During the restart, ERS takes over, ensuring no log loss. So there is no log is going to be happening. If we are having ERS, Enqueue replication server is helping to, there is no log loss. So minimal or no user distribution, no user disruption. Minimal or no user disruption. There is no user disruption is having with the ERS. If you configure ERS, there is no user disruption. And this is recommended for production systems, because why is production system is a business system, like the data is going to be changed every seconds. So and every time, every minute also the business is going to be happening in the production system only. So because if we configure this latest ENSA with ERS, ENSA 2 with ERS, the log entries is going to be replicated, stored into the ERS. There is no problem if you are having restarted whatever. So without ERS and ENSA 1. So ENSA 1 is nothing but Enqueue server architecture 1 without ERS. There is no ERS. At that time, what is happening with the older systems, with the older ENSA architecture 1. So locks up only stored on memory. This is fine. Log entries replicated in memory up to this, the same thing. So up to this. So log entries are stored in memory. During planned restart, planned means we are going to restart, right? As manually we are doing the restart. So by using like a stop SAP or start SAP or SAP control command function, like a stop AP1, AP2, like that, we're going to use if you want to start the application also, this we are going to use the SAP control command. So logs may be stored back from disk. So logs may be stored from disk if we configure this enqueue/backup file. If we configure this enqueue/backup file, then only this memory in this logs is going stored back to the memory. So if we configure the, but this is an old parameter. This is a old parameter as well. Like we are not going to use this anywhere because everybody using this one ERS nowadays. ERS will high availability. Enqueue server architecture to most of the system, all the systems, not only for production, all the systems we are using this already ERS, Enqueue Replication Server. So this is how the answer. And what about if we restart, the server is restarted manually, that is fine. If it is, the problem is like what happens when the Enqueue, what happens to the Enqueue log entries if the server is crashes or server is shut down suddenly due to the power issues and whatever, what happens then? So with ERS, with ERS, Enqueue Replication Server, there is no problem actually. ERS immediately takes over failover, like a failover via HA cluster. There is no failover. So no log loss, as logs are always sync with the ERS, right? There is no issue. No log loss, as logs are always syncing with the ERS. Users continue with the almost zero impact. If you configure ERS, there is no issue. The users work as usual. There is no issue. Without the ERS, ENSA one, the older systems, definitely all logs in memory is going to be lost. Sudden crash, right? This is sudden crash, sudden shutdown. This is not responsible. If we configure this enqueue/table size like a backup, enqueue/backup file, also if we configure that also, that is not going to be used because this is only used for whenever manual restart. Manual restart only it is work. Otherwise, the sudden shutdown, sudden crash is there, that is not going to work. So this is the importance of Enqueue Replication Server. So anyway, we are having with the Enqueue Replication Server with the modern ENSA 2 and as well as the high availability systems. So this is overall troubleshooting and monitoring things about Enqueue. So try to watch the video again and again. If you have the system, you can practice and you just remember what are the steps we follow here from 1 to 9 steps for this if it is exceeds more than 100 milliseconds. So anyway, these steps you can find the answers. What is stopping to moving further? We are going to troubleshoot these many things. You just think in a practical way, you can find the answer in easy way. So these are the programmatic errors, and this is the 7th. Like if we restart the server manually, what is happening to the logs? Like and as well if we sudden crashes or sudden shutdowns, what happens to Enqueue logs? So these two questions you may get. So watch again and again. This Enqueue is very, very important. Okay. Enqueue and update. Commonly you will listen the classes again and again. Thank you.